Hi everyone. Happy whatever day of the weekend it is that I decided to post this. So this, I'm not planning on this to be a long video because I don't want to color the entire thing on camera. I don't have a ton to talk about in terms of color and chat, and what I do have to talk about is very political, and I'm very mad about it, and I am trying to take a break this weekend and not think about things so much because I just need to rest. Like, I am definitely world weary at this point. So that is probably not the direction I need to go. So what I figured I would do for this video is just show y'all. So if you watched my video, I'm gonna try to find the book while we're talking. If you watched my video a couple weeks ago from where I colored out of the Forest Mandalas book by Joshua Dunbar, and of course I can't find it. I think that's it. I ended up doing a marker base with pencil over the top, and it was my first time trying the Arrtx pencils, and I was very pleasantly surprised by them. So I thought I had colored this page using my magic box markers, which I want to do a review on, but then I was like, I kind of want to add pencil to this picture, so why don't I show you, because that one was sped up. You guys didn't really see how I was adding pencil to it, so I thought I could do this in real time, show you guys how I use the color chart that I have to pick out my colors, and show you guys at least a little bit of how I shade with the pencils. So, alright. So I colored the marker version of this yesterday. It's out of 50 Woodland Miniatures by Kameliya Angelkova. And I did this little guy. And to be honest, I'm kind of torn. If I had colored the stump and like the mushrooms a little bit better, I almost would just leave the way it is, but I've never regretted using pencil to enhance a picture, so that's the logic I'm going with here. He's not, I colored him, I see him as a little bobcat, and he is not, I guess, correctly colored according to nature. However, I like the color combination here, so we're going to go with that. And then of course I did the outline in the bright lime green, just because it just makes the picture pop so much more. So now we're going to add pencil to this, and so I'm going to start with the leaves over here. They are kind of a blue-green color, and so this chart I got from Color with Claire, her Ko-fi page, and I'll link that down in the description. So right off the bat, if I'm looking at blue-green type colors, I see this color family group right here. Emerald might work. It is about the same color. It might be a little darker, so it might just be enough. And then maybe I could go over that. This is more of the parrot green, I think. So I'm going to use the emerald. I might use the teal too, just a little bit of the teal, because that's still got that bluey color to it. It's either that or the dark green. But see, this dark green's more of a, yellow green, so we might do dark teal, just a little touch of that, the emerald, and then actually that is more of a true green. Then I might finish it out going over it with the true green. So let's grab those pencils. I feel like these charts make it so much easier for me to pick the colors that I need. And then we'll grab true green and we'll try this. Oh, my allergies are driving me crazy today. I've been sneezing. I have this little cordless sharpener. This is a Jarlink sharpener. I can link it in the description, but it works pretty well for my needs. Sorry for the noise. Works really well on these pencils. These do not feel like super fragile pencils. Like, they feel like they have some heft to them. They don't feel like I have to handle them gently like my Prismacolors or what have you. Okay, so we have dark teal, emerald, and true green. Alright, so I'm going to start up here, and we're going to zoom in, and it's going to be a little blurry, so I'm going to fix that. There we go. Hopefully I'll remember to fix that when I zoom back out. I generally go dark to light when I shade in, and I'm not big on layers. When I add pencil, I kind of want it just to be quick. Quick and to the point, right? Like, so I am going a little lighter initially just to get an idea of what the shading's going to be like. So that was the dark teal. Here, let me do that. So that looks pretty sharp. Now, it might be hard to see on here. I'm trying really hard to get close enough so that you guys can see the actual shading, because like you can see it at the end. However, there we go. There we go. That's what I need. Now I'm going in with the emerald. I'm going to go over that dark area and just pull out a little bit. I try to shade a little bit depending on, like, I'm always assuming this, you know, the light's coming from this direction, so I try to shade accordingly, but I'm very, like, casual about it. And then let's do the true green. So the true green's pretty much that marker color. The reason why I add it over is I feel like it blends it out a little nicer. I burnish it a little bit so that it, and the Arrtx does really, really well with this. It's not a super soft type of pencil, and honestly I feel like I struggle with the softer pencils. Hang on, let me do one thing with the emerald right here. Just fade it out a little bit more. Come down that way a little bit with it. I feel like slightly harder pencils do a better job in the Amazon books because of the textured surface. To me, it's more textured surface, harder pencils. And there you go. So I don't, now, you know, I could deepen this color by going over it 2 or 3 times, but I just don't have the patience for that. Like, I want a little bit of shading, but I just don't want to do layers and layers. That's why I burnish with the true green, because I know that's all I'm going to do on that leaf, so I'm going to burnish with that true green over the top and then just move on. My biggest thing is just making sure I have the right pencil, because the dark teal and the emerald actually aren't all that different shade-wise. So, I am going a little bit slower than I typically would, just so I can show you guys like what I'm doing. But like, this is me and peak pencil power. Like this, if I'm going to use pencils, regular colored pencils, this is the way I do it. This is, and see, I'm not, you know, I do tend to use heavier pressure with pencils, especially when I am trying to be done. And my pressure will increase exponentially as the coloring goes on, because I am tired of it. Tired of the tediousness of it. And but I'm really not using that much pressure on these in like I usually would. And I'm getting great color. The only one I'm really using any major pressure with is this true green. Let's see. Isn't that cool? And look, there's like there's like a couple little pieces of dust, and that's it. Like, there is no, that's one of the key pieces. One of the biggest things that jumped out at me about these pencils is, and I just realized, it's probably really hard to see what I'm doing because I color the sway and the shadows and everything. So let's try this at another angle and see if it's better. Maybe you can see a little more of what I'm doing. So yeah, this is what I'll do. I'll just work my way down through here. I'll put my darkest layer down. I'm pulling it out in the areas that I think would be more shaded. Like, all this is going to be just dark right here. I'm using medium pressure. I would say for me it's probably really light pressure. Like, actually light pressure, but these won't have as much bright spots because they're behind him. But, you know, if I end up leaving a little bit of brightness, it's no big deal. I am most certainly not well full of knowledge about lighting. It's not something like, it's something I could challenge myself with, but it's not really something that I care a whole lot about in my coloring, except just for basic shading like this. Like, where my darkest colors should go versus where my lightest colors should go is basically what I look for. And it may not be super precise, but that, you know, honestly, that's okay. It's more about creating definition. It's more about creating the lights and darks for me, like adding definition to these leaves where they're one-dimensional with just the marker layer on them. The best way to do this would be the little circles. But, you know, sometimes I get speedy and I'll want to use lines, and really either way works well with these pencils. The fact that I'm not using heavy pressure on all of the I want that to fade out just a little bit more. And see, I can add just a little bit over that burnish. As long as I'm not like trying to press real hard, I can go back over it a little bit. So there is a good, now it's a little shiny, of course, because it's wax-based pencils, but if I tilt it, you can see sort of the difference between that side versus that side. Looks really sharp. Like I said, I don't it takes me a bit to decide I want pencil, but once I put pencil in a picture, like, I never regret it. So let's do the same for the blueberries. And then, where are we at? 15 minutes. Let's do the same for the blueberries. And then, because I feel like this one might be a little trickier. No, I don't think so. So we'll do a few blueberries, and then I'll probably work on this today, and then I'll show a clip at the end where it's completely finished. And I'll tell you guys like what my plans are and stuff. So before we do that, yeah. So okay, I made these blueberries. I don't know if they're actually supposed to be blueberries, but that's what I thought when I saw them. I used, like, in the Magic Box markers, it was kind of like a royal blue. Basically, I feel like these match up, the colors match up well with the ultramarine here. When it comes to blues, I much prefer this line of blues, which has more of a, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe a slight bit of green, and I'm not sure, but these, like, if I, you know, I would probably use these blues, but if I'm trying to stay true to the colors here, I want to use these. So I'm going to pull out, the only thing is, like, Copenhagen and Prussian really aren't that much different, but, and I like that violet blue as well. We're going to use that, because I need a darker blue anyway, and maybe even some of the violet up here would be a good choice. So for the inside, like these little darker blues, I can use the violet and a little bit, that's more of the violet blue. So I might use those two on the inside. And then on the outside, use like the violet blue. So this is probably the Delft blue. So I'll pull that pencil. I'll pull a darker version of that. We'll go with the Prussian blue, and then we'll use the violet blue on the outside too. So let me pull those. Let's see here. I say violet blue, Delft blue, Prussian blue. Maybe I use the Copenhagen. Let's use the Copenhagen. And then the violet blue. And then the Cobalt violet. And sorry, y'all are going to hear my sharpener again. I believe this is the first time I've used colored pencils on one of my miniatures pictures, so this is, look at me, breaking out of my comfort zone. Okay, and you see, normally I use a glove for pencils because they tend to be soft and smear if, like, the oils on your hands touch it. I usually have, like, one of these kind of Michael Jackson looking gloves, like, is it this way? I think it's this way. Yeah, I'll put a glove on like that, which, I mean, I probably should do anyway. But with these, I don't have to worry about them smearing. Like, they stay on really well. And for somebody that likes heavy pressure and heavy color, did I burnish this one? Sure doesn't look like I did. I swear, I'm so easily distracted. Okay. So here, for the inside of the blueberry, I'm just going to use the violet blue and the Cobalt Violet. We're going to try those. If I feel like the violet blue is too dark, I might add in some. So these I'm not going to do a whole lot because these are really tiny spaces. Could even use a black in here if you wanted. Yeah. Let me grab the black pencil. If I can find it. I think these are dark. I think this is dark enough. There we go. And then the other one was Cobalt Violet. There we go. I'm a little heavy on it on that one, but lighten it up a little bit on that one. I don't think I'm going to get a ton of definition here because these spaces are so small. That's okay. I know it's there. It's there for me. It's there for my comfort. I know it's there. Alright, so I said violet blue. Well, I ended up going with Copenhagen blue and Delft blue. Alright, so here is the blue violet. Grab a little bit around the... I'm going to go ahead and do both of these, I think. And then the Copenhagen blue. Let's add just a little bit. Let's go a little bit darker with the violet blue. Just to give it more. Let it stand out a little bit more. These I feel like are a little trickier. With the Delft blue. Kind of just going over all of it. Yeah. It was tricky finding a light enough blue base for the blueberries. I didn't want to go super bright. I really balk at using super bright base colors, but then that limits me when I add these colors because then I don't have much room to work with. Let's see here. If I tilt the page again, that waxy is going to leave a little sheen on it. Yeah, I think that'll work for those. So just need maybe let's grab this Cobalt Violet and go around just the very edge. Just like I'm talking right along the edge. There we go. I think that helped a little. Alright, so I'm basically using 4 pencils for this. Okay, so my plan is going to be to work on the rest. Now, what I did in the Forest Mandalas book that I think I'm going to do here is I am going to add just a little bit of pencil to this light outline. According to the chart here, this is going to line up with these kind of yellow greens. This is like spring green or apple green. So I will probably go slightly darker, maybe the pea green or the grass green. And then just lightly go around the edges with that. And then use the spring green or the apple green to fade out like right around the edges of where the yellow ends. Or I might even use the chartreuse. I don't know. But that's, so I am going to go around the edges as well. And yeah, I guess I'll show you guys when this is done. So let me back up here so you can get an idea. Make sure it's actually in focus. My other light's starting to... You can kind of see the difference. Like I said, it's when I add pencil, it's not an extreme difference, but it's, like I said, I think it's, I see it more than people probably do in the final picture, but you can see where we're going with it. So yeah, I'll show the finished picture here, and well, it'll be just immediate for y'all. So here we go. Hi all, so just a quick strategy update. I was looking at the colors, so you can tell I've done the blueberries and the leaves. Yes, Bagheera. Hi. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. I was looking at my Bobcat, and I was feeling really unsure about, you know, I should have went lighter with him so I could have plenty of colors here. I was kind of feeling a little unsure, so I dipped into my Starjoy Gold. Well, I looked at the family color chart, and like these colors right here actually line up really well. And this gives me a few more browns to choose from, so I pulled some of the browns from this set. I did like some quick swatching and comparison between the two, and I think I've actually got a combo of the pencils between the two sets that I'm going to use for him. So I guess this is turning into a Arrtx and Starjoy Gold tutorial thing, but I guess I could show you guys real quick how it turns out with him as I'm doing this. So I tried to find some brown reds, which is basically what he is. And I came up with the Burnt Umber, which is a really dark brown red in the Arrtx, and then came up with Burnt Sienna and Brown Sienna in the Starjoy Gold. So I figured we would try this and see how it goes. I don't know. This is actually, this is actually my first time using these Starjoy Golds on a page. When I swatched them, I liked how they laid down a little better than the Arrtx on the paper, but I have not tried them on this paper. Actually, let's do what I did earlier. And move that a little over. Come on. Fine. I'll move the page over. And then sharpen it a bit. Alright. So we're going to try this combo and see how this goes. Browns are what I struggle with a lot when it comes to pencils. These color family charts actually make it a lot easier, thankfully. But even then, like the owl in that forest animal mandalas picture, it did take me longer to pick my browns with that than any of the other colors. So, I apologize. Allergies are not my friend today. Hopefully this is coming through a little bit. I'm going a lot lighter with my shading. Again, when I first start off, I'll go pretty light just because I don't know what I'm gonna get. And if I like hate it, then it's gonna be a lot harder to erase if it's darker than if it's light. Sorry, I'm so quiet. Now I'm focusing. Again, another reason why I either do voiceovers with this kind of stuff or I don't color with colored pencil much live is just because a lot of times I am just really focused in. Okay. So there is the darkest color. Now we're going to go with what should be just a darker, basically a darker version of his fur. Should be. And this is the Starjoy Gold. Did I say that right? For some reason, I want to call him Starjoy Jold a lot. And I don't know why. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. So really it's just going to be the lightest color here. Because sometimes if you go with too light a pencil, it really washes out the color. Oh, that looks nice. That looks very nice. And typically, most people doing this would probably just leave it like that. However, I have a hard time with that. That's something I really need to like challenge myself on, is not feeling like when I use pencil, I have to use it over everything. Now, fortunately, I'm getting a lot better at picking pencils that match my base color. But I know, it's like, it kind of feels like, why did you bother with the base color then if you're just going to color over? Well, that's because this way I can use a lighter touch on the pencils and I don't have to worry about white space. because that marker has taken care of that white space for me. So I can go light on the pencils. Also going over the other colors to blend them a bit. Well, I think that looks real sharp. I think that looks real sharp. I am quite pleased with that. I don't know if the Star Joy Gold, now these are the ones that Color My World helped create the color palette. So her name, Lori, that's it, will come to me. I was like, it's gonna come to me in a minute. I just know it. Oh, he looks so sharp. Now, Bobcat typically is going to be more of like a brown gray color, like a light color. But I feel like, you know, as much as I want to color the animals the natural color they are, I also, oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. See, that's what I every time I get ready to add pencil or marker, and I'm just like, do I really want to though? And I really liked this picture with just the marker. You know, I didn't do any outlines or anything like that, just because I knew I was probably going to use pencil. And but there was just this little voice in the back of my head, and what finally did it for me, because I was hemming and hawing about it, and I was like, but the picture looks cute as it does. And then it was telling myself, Michelle, have you ever regretted adding pencil to a picture? And that still rings true, because this is turning out really, really nice. So I'm gonna finish doing his face here. We won't blend out as much here just because it's a smaller space. And here I am. I'm not using very hard pressure. Like, it's almost like, what have we done with Michelle? Michelle's using pencils. Michelle's not using super heavy pressure to burnish everything. Like, where did Michelle go? And I want to move fast. Like, in my brain, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wanted this to go so much faster. But then I see the color, and I'm just like, oh, but it looks so good. Just looks so good. I'm keeping my pencils super sharp too, by the way. So even if they just slightly dull, I am going ahead and just barely tapping them in the sharpener. So, because they just work so much better with the type of blending that I'm doing. Now, isn't that pretty? My goodness. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that. Okay, so I'm going to continue on. Again, it's going to be a mix of pencils probably for this. It might be for the bird. I don't know. But I'm going to continue on, finish this up off camera again. I'm trying desperately, and it's not working, to keep this at a reasonable length of time. And then hopefully I will come back with a finished picture. If anything else does change, I'll let you guys know. So here we go. All right, here we are. Finished picture. I am so proud of this one. Like, I thought it would turn out cute. I mean, of course, like I said, never any regrets when I put pencil on it, and it was super cute when just with a marker. But like, the little Bobcat kitten was the one I worried the most about, like in terms of pencils. But honestly, he's my favorite part of the picture. Like, he turned out so good. I am so glad that I expanded out into another pencil set. I should do that more often. Oftentimes I'm just lazy. But isn't he cute? It really did. It turned out so good. And yeah, just using these charts and a combination of the Starjoy and the Arrtx, I feel like is a pretty good combo. I struggled with the browns, but that is not unusual for me just because it's that way in any picture. It's one of the reasons I probably don't color as many natural looking pictures and use as many neutrals, just because it's harder for me to judge pencil combos with browns and like tans and stuff than it is like bright colors, right? Like blues and reds are easy. It's the browns and neutrals that I struggle with. But I feel like these two actually did really well. Probably would have done well with like the Derwent. Oh my goodness. I've spent a lot. Whew. Sorry about that. I've spent a lot of time on this picture today. Well, okay. It was a few hours. I didn't color as fast as I did the Forest Mandala picture. I actually took a little more time with this one, because I liked the softness of it. And, but yeah, no, I feel like the Arrtx and the Starjoy Golds worked really well together, to give you, you know, more combinations. There's a lot of similar colors, but then there's a lot of, I don't know. I feel like these two actually work really well together. I'd be interested in trying other pictures, other pencil combinations. I will say the Starjoy are slightly softer than the Arrtx to me. Like if you really want, you know, you want a soft pencil and you had to pick between two, I go with the Starjoy Gold. But I like the color combinations in the Arrtx ones better overall than I do in the Starjoy. But when you put them together, you get a lot of possibilities. So there's some to consider. And on Amazon paper, like I said, me and pencils and Amazon paper don't always get along. But like I did feel like this one did really well. And I am super pleased with how this turned out. So y'all will see this on Instagram. I'm probably going to post this Saturday, I think. And like I said, I'm just going to chill the rest of the weekend. I'm going to put, well, I got to put the pencils up anyway. I'm going to put my combinations in the description because I never write them down. And I'm going to want to know later what combinations I used. So I will put those down in the description if you are curious. And yeah, so here overall, and the Starjoy Golds didn't cause, I mean, seriously, I gently blew and brushed off this paper a couple times just in case, but honestly, there wasn't really a lot of pencil dust at all with either of these pencils. They didn't, I had to keep them like ultimately sharp, I did have to keep, you know, dip them in the sharpener fairly frequently. I feel like maybe, weirdly enough, the Arrtx wore down faster, though that doesn't seem like it makes sense if the Starjoys are softer. I don't know. But anyway, for somebody that doesn't use pencils very often, I like both these sets very much on Amazon paper. This is my second picture with the Arrtx, and honestly, these are probably going to be my go-tos for Amazon paper for a while until, you know, I get bored and want to try another set, because I like the softer pencils, but I feel like the harder base, like the more middle of the road pencils do better on Amazon paper. So yeah, thanks for checking this out with me, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.